Another Wednesday night. We are back. Get off the damn fence. Myself, Calvin Thomas, my brother Justin B.A. the Barber Harris. We are short one member tonight. I'll tell you why in a little bit. But what's going on, Justin? How you doing?
Feeling fine, mighty fine.
I saw the quick change of clothes. It threw me off. I
Oh,
didn't
you
know.
saw that?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man,
I didn't know what I was saying, so it threw
my
me off when I
bad
looked
on
up.
that. Hell, it could have been worse, man. Could have been
It
worse.
could have been. I appreciate that for just a quick glance. I ain't need to say it though, but it is what it is. Like I said, we all short remember tonight. After you saw the demolishing, the verbal beatdown that Larry Caution took last week, he wanted to take a week off. So we graciously obliged. So you won't be seeing him tonight, but he'll be back next week. He'll be back next week. You need a week off. Sometimes when you just go spar, when you debate with me and you're on the wrong side, well, you'll see later when we talk about the picks we made last week. You just need a week off. It's understandable. It's understandable. That's my brother. I love him, but he needed a week off. So if he's saying this, I understand. I'll release the text thread later when you said you need a week off. You're still recovering. But it's all love. It's all love. Hope you see this. Hope you comment, and I'll post your comments too. So But besides that, we're gonna get into it like we always do. And unfortunately, where do we always start with? Last week's matchups. Before we get into this Ravens talk, week 5 is in the books as of Monday night. I think it was a great. Leonard had posted this in the chat that every primetime game for the most part has been great. Sundays, Thursdays, and Monday nights. And Monday night we had a great game in my estimation with Kansas City and Jacksonville. Came down to the wire. We saw Trevor Lawrence finally make a play in his 5-year career. But what is your what are your thoughts on week 5 as a whole? Going back to your team's victory as well. I had them in my survivor pool, so I'm glad about that.
Well, we saw some things, and I guess that's what we was looking for. Every week you want to see something different, a wrinkle here, a wrinkle there. Shout out to Tampa Bay first and foremost, traveling up to Seattle and winning. I guess we can't find another way to win other than last minute, but that's one thing. You mentioned Kansas City and Jacksonville. We saw Travis Hunter. We saw more Travis Hunter actually play on the field. These are small things in which you want to take to putting your little Rolodex, saying, okay, all right, we see how things are going. We see certain teams get desperate. Some teams have lackluster performances. Shout out to the Ravens, and I guess that hit home. And next thing you know, they try to make some during the season maneuvers, and that's what you want to see at the end of the day. You just don't want to see your team just give up on the season. Same thing for Cincinnati. They made some moves, trying to sign over Joe Flacco. They're not giving up. As a fan base, you just want to see your team provide some type of effort here, so that they can justify going to the games, going to the bar to see the games. Spending merchandise money and things like that. Like, give me a reason to want to, still support at the end of the day. And a lot of teams are doing that. Some teams are winning. Cam Ward got his first victory, after saying that they sad. What I'm saying? And they shouldn't have got a victory, but hey, you know what? You put it out there, and the football gods, came in and bestowed a W upon you. So shout out to that. So this whole week has been very, very entertaining to say the least.
Look, this is not an advertisement for anything because we ain't sponsored yet. But Bet365, I had Arizona in my parlay because they went up 17 points. They won regardless of the outcome, so that cashed my parlay. So I was not upset. So shout out to Bet365. I'll also say, look, going back to Denver, Philadelphia, Sean Payton with the cojones to go for 2 in the fourth quarter after you score what could have been a game time touchdown and an extra point, going for 2 and saying, no, we're the better team. We're on the road. We're going to make you come down and score. And Philadelphia didn't score. Look, I love that type of coaching. Not just doing it, but having the confidence to say we're going to do it and not kind of tread water and go back and forth. It's this decision I made. Let's go for it. Even with the second-year quarterback, that defense came up to play in Philadelphia, and they got away with a win. So shout out to Denver. I think I was the only one that picked in my pool last week. You picked us? Okay. You picked us. Well, I don't. Okay.
So on the tape.
I know who has the most victories. That's why I couldn't remember which one.
I had the most victories.
We'll see that slide. I'm pretty sure it's me. I'm pretty sure it's me. But let's get into last week. Let's start in Baltimore. Unfortunately, Ravens go down. bad, 44-10 at home to C.J. Stroud and the previously one-win Texans. Look, I can't even be mad. I was expecting the loss, especially when we found out, I believe on Friday, Saturday, Lamar Jackson wasn't playing. When you have an offense that has to score every chance they have the ball, every time they have the ball, and you take out the MVP, the best player in the league, in my opinion, you're going to struggle on offense. Now, if you want to say they gave up, if you want to say that, that they've started to tune out coaching, if you want to say all that stuff, that's a conversation for another day. But I don't think anyone expected them to win. Now, did you expect them to lose by 34 points? Did you expect C.J. Stroud to find his mojo again on the road in Baltimore? This was the first time in 4 meetings that C.J. Stroud has scored a touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens. Going back to week 1 of the 2023 season, they played him twice, and then last year. This was his first touchdown of any kind. You go back and look at those games, the touchdowns were on special teams, or I think there was one rush. This is the first time he scored a touchdown against his defense. Look, I'm not even upset because we've seen this for 4 weeks, going into last week. I'm not upset. This team is what it is. If you want to say it's injuries, you want to say it's bad coaching, you want to say it's a combination of all the above, that's fine. But I don't see anything changing. Now, they're still the favorite to win the AFC North, believe it or not, and I think they're going to lose next week as well. So you could probably get those. Odds even better next week when they're going 1-5. But the Ravens didn't show me anything different. So why am I to be upset? And why am I thinking something's going to change? It's not going to change anytime soon. I don't expect Lamar to play this week with them going to the bye in week 7. While Lamar come back a week earlier, we saw Kyle Van Noy come back. We saw no Kyle Hamilton. We saw no Roquan. We saw them even trade Owe, which we'll get into a little bit later. So what's there to be surprised about? What's there to be upset about? This has been a norm for the last couple weeks. It's nothing to argue about, in my opinion. So what are your thoughts on the Ravens?
This was tough. It was tough to watch because, you don't want to see the effort that was put out there. It looks bad. It looks bad on everything, on everybody. And, the players play, so we're gonna give them their somewhat just due because they actually showed up on the field. But you can see this is just a different vibe, a different view. That one scene, I don't know who took this photo, who took this video, I should say, when Harbaugh was walking off the side of the field.
They were booing him.
And they were booing him straight dead in his face. Guys, that's not good. That's not what you want to see out your head coach. Despite the record or any time, you never want to see that. And you're looking for him to maybe hold people accountable just a little bit more. When you score 10 points and allow 44, you have completely wet the bed. There is nothing that you can ride home about that you say, hey, we gave him hell tonight. No, you didn't do anything. You just showed up, and C.J. Stroud had one of those performances that goes down in his history books.
Yeah.
He had a great game. But shout out to Cooper Rush. He had 6 incompletions. And then out those 6 incompletions, 3 of them was interceptions. That's not where you want to go. Yeah. We have to have a better system, have to have a better formula. I can't blame the offensive line, although it left some stuff to be desired. But at the end of the day, he threw those balls. At the end of the day, do we not have a similar format? Is Tyler Huntley that much worse? Whereas that we can't have some type of flow to the offense that we once did. I shouldn't have to change my whole offense because of that. And I was hoping that they would run the ball more, but you got smashed, so you couldn't even establish the run like that. Although I still would have ran the ball more. Shout out to Keaton Mitchell, man. I did. At least I saw him out there. I saw him on special teams making some things happen. I just wish that I saw him with Lamar Jackson. So in my mind, I'm envisioning Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry, and a Lamar Jackson backfield. Eventually, I'm gonna get that. So one step at a time, I guess. So now, next thing you know, I need Lamar to show up, and I need the other 2 to stay healthy, and I need Keaton to continue to play. And then we'll see how dynamic I think that this backfield could be. But with all that being said, as putrid as you guys look, you're still in it. It ain't over. it's not over for you guys, and I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. But I think everyone is waiting for the bye week, so that means you are you going to give them another L? I guess you guys are playing the Rams. Yes. So with that being said, we all waiting for the bye week. We all waiting for Lamar and his troops to come back, and then we're gonna see how y'all do post bye week. But that's where y'all at right now.
We take a look at that injury report and just up and down. A lot of your starters that did not practice and did not play last week. We can go through the names. Awuzie didn't play last week. Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Lamar Jackson, Travis Jones. We talked about this last week. What portion of injuries is injuries the bigger part, or is it coaching in your opinion? Looking at it from the outside, because you're not a big Ravens fan. You're not a Ravens fan at all. But is it can we had this discussion last week, and I'm just saying, if those are 1-2 and if the injuries are there, then there's also the injuries in this coaching. Because I think if you're healthy, we see this team that played the majority of the game against Buffalo. We see this team that dominated against Cincinnati. But when you lose, especially when you lose your best pass rusher in a passing league, that just started the downfall right there. And all praise go out to man BK. Hope he can live his life beyond football, because everything that they're talking about, this has the potential to be a career in injury. But injuries, what part does that play, in my opinion, in your opinion, to what's going on with the Ravens through week 5?
What you want to see is if I know that a Lamar led team can give me 40 points. You want to go on a hope that a Cooper Rush team can at least give me 20. I'm not expecting the same amount of output from the starters. I'm not expecting that. That's why they're not starting. But you still want to see some semblance of offense, some semblance of defense, some flow. It's just like, you just didn't make the play. Like you was kind of close, but you didn't make the play. Those are the kind of things you still want. So it doesn't matter who's playing. You still want to see some type of flow, and it just didn't work out. And what we saw this past Sunday, shout out to the third member, Larry. He just said it was pathetic. They just gave a lackluster performance all around. So that has nothing to do with injury. They didn't seem like they was giving it a shot, and it was like, it's Houston. It's not, shout out to Philadelphia. They just lost, but it wasn't like an undefeated Philadelphia. It wasn't like he was going against one of these top 10 teams. It was Houston. They got one win. So you expected a better performance overall. So to answer your question, I'm sorry I was long-winded behind it. The injuries matter, yes. But the way they looked, I had to put that on coaching. They looked unprepared.
But they look like they were outclassed, in my opinion. When you have
it's Houston, they got one win.
But we're talking about Houston still has a top 5 or 6 quarterback in the AFC. Houston still has one of the better wide receivers in the AFC. Houston still has one of the better defenses as well. So when you add all things together, and then I had injuries, I don't have my starting quarterback. I'm missing my middle linebacker. I'm missing my starting safety. I'm missing multiple cornerbacks. Who had the green dot on Sunday? We don't even talk about that. Who had the green dot? It started off with as a rookie in Malachi Starks. It was a rookie in Teddy Buchanan. Look, all that plays a part. Like, if I can't even communicate with my defense, or have my defense coordinator communicate my defense, and I have a rookie doing that plays a part as well. I think we got to include all of that. I'm not saying this team does not have its faults. I'm not saying this team, they thought they would have a better defensive line, a better offensive line in the preseason, and both of those have not come true, especially the offensive line. Did they rely on Oweh to have a contract year? Yes. Did they rely on Cal Van Noy to dip in the fountain youth again? Yes. Did either of those things happen? No. So, and did they rely on the offensive line from last year, in which you really see the departure of Patrick McCarry, who really covered up the weaknesses for Linderbaum and a Falele, and now you have 3 fairly young interior linemen who can't communicate, can't make the right calls, need to be told what to do every play step by step. And that's leading to the poor rushing game. That's leading to Lamar being sacked. We will sacked, I believe, 8 times in 4 games, something like that. So that leads to all that, in my opinion. So it leads to our next question, and that's at what point is the season over? Is it now? Is it next week? Is it? what point do we start thinking about next year with the Baltimore Ravens, and at what point does this 2025 Baltimore season between the Orioles and Ravens become just one terrible long year sports wise?
To answer that question, I want you to check group. That's what I want you to do first and foremost. Secondly, it's a season over. That's a great question. But like I said in my last joint, I think the bye week is it for you guys. You still had the talent, like that offense. You weren't like leading the league in offense. Like we're not going to say like that wasn't happening. It's just you just wanted your defense to make a few more plays to make that separation just a little bit more. So yes, eventually you got to change. You gotta throw in some guys. You have to get rid of your defensive coordinator first and foremost. If everyone's saying that's what it is, if everyone is making you aware of that, and you got to come out every week. We hear. I'm listening to the Baltimore Sports Radio just as much as you guys are tapped into it. He's making excuses every single week. He went in on Todd Monken about a week ago, and he was the one that was performing.
It's easy to go on Monken because he's a vet. He's not going. It's going to roll off his skin, and everyone knows it's not his. The majority of the blame does not go to Monken.
So if you're trying to say, stall homeboy out, I get it, right? You gracefully let him go. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You ain't got to make no big scene. You ain't got to speak on it, but you got to. Something has to change. Now you're getting in other players, which is great, cool. You're trying to move some pieces around. I get that part. So you're doing something. All right, I hit you with a stick. You're moving a little bit. Pause. Like I get it, right? But at the end of the day, you got to do something. But to answer that question, no, the season's not over because the wild card is still in play. It's too many teams that can vie for that wild card. Y'all just got to go on a winning streak, which you can. Your offense is that dynamic once Lamar Jackson comes back. Now, if you tell me Lamar is going to miss 4 to 5 games, yeah, season's over.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me he's coming back right after the bye week, you got a shot. And it's just like Baltimore to win a couple games. I was talking to Ricky about this today. That's the shot. Y'all can win a couple games and then lead, and then lose in the first round of the playoff. I would thoroughly enjoy that for me, for my personal pleasure. But you know what I'm saying? It can happen though. Y'all just gotta go on the winning streak.
So where do you see this winning streak? Where I look, if you tell me Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, you gotta win 3 of those 4.
You can legitimately win out. And that's not even
including the Rams. Including the Rams.
No, but not including the Rams. After the bye week. Everything after the bye week.
So you wouldn't be surprised if they go 12 and 5.
I wouldn't be. Going 12 and 5 is crazy. I mean, winning that 11 straight, that is crazy. So I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying, if I'm looking at your schedule, can you beat the Bears? Yes. Can you beat the Dolphins? The way the Dolphins playing? Yes. That's tough, but can you do it? Yeah. Browns? Yeah, you can win that. You already got to beat the road. Can you beat the Jets? You see what the Jets is. They trash right now, right? We're gonna see how the Bengals play out, right? Steelers. Okay, you might lose that. But you might lose against, let's take one against away. Then you got the Bengals. You might be able to beat them twice. Who knows how they're going to react and how they form? Who knows if Joe Burrow going to be back? That might be Joe Burrow's first game back. And he might be putrid, and he shouldn't even play. Right? You don't know how Joe Flacco's going to incorporate himself into this offense. Patriots, okay, that's tough, but it's winnable. The Packers, tough, but winnable. And then you back on, last game of the season against the Steelers. It's not unfathomable for y'all to win the majority of those games. We talk about 9 to 10. You can easily win those.
I still think it's a reason why they're the favorite to win the division. Like I said, after this week, I think the majority of prognosticators, I believe both of us, have them losing to the Rams. They'll be 1 and 5 going to the bye week. But like you said, the Bears at home, going to Miami on a short week. Minnesota on the road, going to Cleveland. Cleveland is starting a rookie quarterback. They probably will be on a second rookie quarterback at that point, and we'll get into the Joe Flacco trade in a minute. But this is a very winnable schedule at this point. This is a very winnable schedule at this point going forward. But I don't know if it's a good thing because you once you won out and you're riding high into the playoffs, what happens at that point? But going into like the latter part of the schedule, when you talk about Cincinnati, and we'll get into that Joe Flacco portion right now, when Flacco was traded and goes from Cleveland to Cincinnati, his third AFC North team. I think what I have not heard anyone say, this, in my opinion, speaks to the Joe Burrow injury. I don't think you trade for Flacco if you think Burrow is going to be back. I think he was originally supposed to be back after Thanksgiving game. So what was that week? Week 16. It does not appear he's going to be back at that point, because I don't think you trade for Joe Flacco if you think that Burrow is going to be back. I mean, regardless of the quarterback play, they have a soft schedule as well. So I don't know if Burrow's going to be back this year. That's starting to kind of worry me if you are a Cincinnati Bengals fan. But Joe Flacco in that offense, he may give you 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, but Flacco going to let that thing fly. So what do you think about this trade?
The trade is needed, right? It's called never give up, right? And they said that Joe, I know the reports are all over the place, but at the end of the day, they were talking about maybe December, around that time.
It was supposed to be after Thanksgiving. It was originally after Thanksgiving
for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it gives you that if we make it to the playoffs, if we make it there, Joe can take us to the next. It's that kind of a thing. So they just said we just going to change up the Joes and get the average Joe. Instead of their superstar Joe, we're going to get the average Joe and then see what Flacco can do. Either way, I'll be rooting for Flacco, especially when he goes against certain teams that happen to wear purple and black. I'll be 100% star supporter of Flacco. At the end of the day, can he throw the ball to Chase? Can he throw the ball to T. Higgins? Can he make Chase Brown relevant again? Can he throw it to the tight end? He can do all those things. I'm not knocking that. Can that offensive line support him enough? That is another question.
That's the question.
But it gives them the ability to bounce back. It gives them the ability to air it out, and that's what Flacco can do, man. My man Larry said it's crazy that by Cleveland Flacco's in a perfect situation. He's in a situation that's ideally. Who don't want to be in a situation where you can throw it to Jamal Chase and T. Higgins? It ain't too many landing spots. Yeah. So you're telling me you looking around, you looking like Cincinnati and Cleveland. They even worse. They're in the same state. So you mean to tell me he ain't looking at this situation? He looking over to his wife. Hey, I got Jerry Judy throw the ball too, but they want to trade me to the other side of the town. Jamal Chase and T. Higgins. She said she already beat him to the door. What you mean? So it works out for Joe. Shout out to Joe, man. He's finding a way to stay relevant. And hopefully, like I said, Chase and Higgins can actually dominate once again.
Look, this is the Joe Flacco, first of all, the epitome of them kids. He got like 8 kids and worth $100 million and still go to work every week. Like, Joe don't want to be home. And look, that's Joe's priority. Whenever Joe retired, he walked into Ring of Honor down at M&T. So shout out to Joe for getting out of that situation in Cleveland. But he gonna find out why Joe Burrow is hurt. He gonna find out why Joe Burrow leads the lead in sacks year in and year out. He won't throw the ball a lot. So if you need a quarterback in fantasy, you want to look at that offense and things are gonna be better. They will, but he will also see why their starting quarterback is out with an injury, because that offensive line is not good and they haven't gotten better, since Joe Burrow went out. It's just the fact that they look at this division up for grabs as well. I don't think they're as good as the Ravens, even though they have the same record. They haven't played yet, but Joe Flacco is upgraded to quarterback position until
who has the same record?
Cincinnati and Baltimore.
How many wins y'all got?
1.
Cincinnati got 2.
They won. They won Sunday.
They had 2 wins with Joe Burrow.
They didn't have 2 wins with Joe. They did when they don't have 2 wins with Joe Burrow.
They had 2 wins with Joe Burrow. That's what we talking about. We're talking about them starting off.
I'm thinking Cleveland's 1-4. Cleveland 1-4. Never mind. Yeah,
yes,
right.
Cleveland has the same one. Cincinnati has double your wins.
You're right. Okay. And then Pittsburgh's leading division at 3-1, but everybody expects them to fall off the cliff at some point. So
they're gonna fall off the cliff. They're gonna lose games, but as long as they stay over 500 and go to the playoffs, they're not making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs.
No. Pittsburgh not making the playoffs.
So who's making the playoffs?
It's only going to be one team in this division. You could pick Cincinnati, Baltimore, whoever you want to pick. It ain't going to be Pittsburgh.
So you're that confident that you're going to leapfrog Steelers to the?
I said Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or Baltimore. So I'm confident one of those 2 teams. One I'm confident in Pittsburgh. Yes.
One doesn't have a starting quarterback. The other one has issues at their quarterback.
Yes.
And they're both going to take over the team that's kind of moving.
I only need one of them to take over the team. Yes.
Okay.
Mark it down. Week 5. October 8th. Yes. Pittsburgh's not making the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
No,
Understood.
they're not. They're not. Let's go to a team that's near and dear to your heart, your Tampa Bay Bucks, and their win over Seattle. We kind of touched on a little bit early on, but let's give us your analysis on this game, and I'll give you my 2 cents on something, another topic that we want to argue about in a minute. But go ahead.
I don't know what the topic is, but if the topic is Baker Mayfield, a potential MVP candidate, then that's what he deserved to be. So I don't know if I'm jumping the gun or not. But
you are very much so jumping the gun.
I am saying I'm removing top 5 out his name because that's just wrong for me. I apologize, Baker. That was just too low. Baker MVP Mayfield is his name. I gotta change that up. So now when you hear me say Baker Mayfield, understand that MVP is coming in between those 2 names. With that being said, we needed every single bit of the MVP this past week. Once again, we do not know how to win games flat out. We just have to have the drama attached to Tampa Bay, and it's starting to make me sick. I told one of my coworkers, my guy, and I was like, we can't keep winning like this. Like, we 4-1. This is true. This is correct. But I'd rather win a game by more than a touchdown or something. This has got this can go. Then he proceeded to tell me to shut the hell up because he's a Ravens fan and they are now 1-4 and we are 4-1. So I can't complain to someone that has a future record like that. So I understood that. The Seattle had they had it. They had the victory in their hands. They did not. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold, they have a connection. I didn't expect that to be as potent as it is. But when your defense is getting walked on, and we was getting walked on, I'm not gonna lie to you. Levante David, this man, that's my guy. I told y'all he's in our Mount Rushmore. I said that. But at the end of the day, he is long in the tooth. He allowed a couple touchdowns. It just wasn't good. Antoine Winfield Jr., the man that's making top 5 safety money. I need you to deflect that ball that Jackson caught over top of you. That was bad. But once again, them two, the 2 that I just pointed out, they the ones that made that last defensive play. You getting walked on. You just need one play. Antoine Winfield Jr. came with a sack, applied enough pressure in which Sam Darnold got jittery in the pocket, threw it off my man hard head, and then Levante came down with it. That's what I needed to see. That old school Tampa Bay 4th quarter turnover. I got spoiled when it came to Warren Sapp and them boys because you can call it. Can't call it no more, but it happened. It happened last Sunday, and Baker did what Baker do. Shout out to Rashad White. Rashad White, stats wise, I'm sorry for your stats, guys. He had a terrible stat game, but that's not what we need him for. He made timely plays, timely catches. And one of the plays towards the end of the game, he broke it. I mean, he could have ran for a touchdown. Like, he really could have. He stopped himself to let that clock tick, 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 tick. That's what he did. That's a smart play. And Chase McLaughlin, they said it at the end of the game. Shout out to Ty Bowles. It wasn't Jordan's flu game, but it was his flu game. Shout out to Chase, man. He had the flu, and he still nailed a couple field goals, and then the game went on top of that. Tough victory, traveling from the depths of southwestern of the United States, southeast side of the United States. I was going to say, who? Shut up. The southeast of the United States. Shout out to Florida, all the way to the northwestern side of the United States. That's slightly the second longest travel that you can go through, and we came down with the W. Let's come back home.
Look, and first of all, have y'all won a game by more than 3 points this year?
Absolutely not.
And even the Philly game was what, by 5 or 6?
Yeah,
y'all
6, 5.
Okay, first that's first. Second, I had y'all in the parlay. I had it over. It was 13-7 at halftime. I cashed out and y'all scored 73 points. I was pissed. But I will say this: it's a good win by Tampa Bay. This team is winning close games. That's going to be needed down the stretch. And I give all y'all the credit, especially going to Seattle, taking that long trip and win the ball game on the road. Especially coming in clutch with it because the defense really fell apart second half. First half, defense was playing lights out in my opinion. They gave up that touchdown late in the first half, I believe, and then to give up 28 points in the second half to Sam Darnold and that Seattle offense. And I will say you definitely miss Bucky Irvin because I think Bucky Irvin's by far the better runner, and Ricard White's by far the better passer, by far the better receiver out of the backfield. And then when you get those two in the right mix, you have a phenomenal run game and a phenomenal running back to catch balls up the backfield. So it's a good win by y'all. Y'all what 4-1 now? I believe.
Yes, sir. We're just trying to say, just trying to get our pieces back, man. Shout out to Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
We're going to give you 1 or 2
and
more
Mike,
weeks.
And Evans.
We know that you're coming around slowly. Mike Evans, you got about 2 more weeks, and then we're going to see where this offense can really take us.
Now, let's go to the true MVP of the league, leading your Dallas Cowboys, America's team, to a 4-1 record. Dallas has the number 1 overall, I think it's passing offense, total offense. I have to go back and check, and the 28th overall defense, and they are 4-1. If that doesn't scream MVP, I don't know what does. When you have that much of a difference in your offensive stats and your defensive stats, to go into Jersey to get a victory on the road against a tough Jets team, I'll say tough Jets team, but I'll use tough loosely. You got to give credit to the Dallas Cowboys. No one thought, even I didn't think that they would be a good team, that they would have a winning record, minus CD Lamb. The run game was. Excuse me?
You do not. You got a winning record?
Yes.
What's your record?
The Dallas Cowboys record?
Yeah.
You don't think they have a winning record? They're 2-2. They're 2-2.
That's not a winning record.
They're 2-1, so that one carries over. It carries over to the win category. It favors the win more than the loss.
You got a tie.
It's a tie against a great team, so that counts more for a victory.
It counts more for a victory.
That's how I'm rationalizing it. That's how I'm rationalizing it.
Weak. The Cowboys are weak.
They're beating the team that's supposed to beat. They're contending with teams they're not supposed to contend with. They're 2-1. They have a phenomenal offense, which I said they would. Cincinnati West, and the defense is just lacking. They'll be exciting on offense, but I think to this point, without Dak MVP Prescott, this team is 0-5. This team's contending with the number 1 overall draft pick. And through the first quarter of the season, I'm going to have, now we just got a lot of haterism coming up, but through the first quarter of the season, I'm going to have them and have him as the MVP.
It doesn't even sound like Dak MVP Prescott. It's too many syllables. It doesn't have the same flow. You know what has the same flow? Baker MVP Mayfield.
It does not. When you can't, you have problem. You can't win. You can't beat the best teams in the league. So you're playing down to your competition.
We lost.
You can't. You have to. You can't pull away in games. You're winning. You're barely winning these games. You're barely winning these games. You're relying on your defense to make plays to put your offense in position to win these games.
Allow that defense to make plays.
There's nothing about that screams MVP on a weak schedule.
Nothing about the Cowboys right now. I'm sorry, does Dak Prescott have a Green Bay Packers jersey on? He does not. Why are you so bent on Dak Prescott? You wasn't representing this team at all. You gave up on him. That's what you did.
I gave up on the defense. I gave up on. I say fire Jerry Jones to GM.
You said go.
However, I will advocate for Dak MVP.
Oh, now you're an advocate. You the advocate.
MVP Prescott.
Jesus.
Probably named his son MVP. It's just foreshadowing. I understand.
Absolutely not. You have to win games in this league. That's what it's all about.
So who's your top 3 MVP in order right now?
Top how many?
Top three.
Top 3. Baker. 2. Mayfield. 3. And Buka. All right, seriously. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of all the. You know what? I'll put Dak. No, man, he ain't got enough wins, bro. I ain't gonna lie. He just ain't got enough wins, man. Baker, Josh Allen. Josh just lost one. He good though. I'm not gonna say Jalen, nobody like that. At this rate, Indiana Jones.
I refuse to put Daniel Jones anywhere near my MVP
what
ladder.
What you mean? Balling out. They should have won.
You want to say comeback player of the year. You want to say future quarterback Indianapolis Colts. Cool, but he is not on my MVP ladder by far.
Shout out to Jared Goff, like Larry just
shout out to Jared Goff. Yeah.
At the same time, he got a stats boost for playing against the Ravens. That don't count. So
you got a stat booster playing against Chicago as well. Did they put up 60 against Chicago or something like that?
The Chicago counts though.
How's it count?
Because it's Chicago. It's not Baltimore.
Okay, make it sound nice. I probably got
the worst record like almost of all time when it comes to defensive stats.
I probably got in all seriousness, Dak will be on there in a couple weeks, but he ain't on there now. I probably got Baker, Josh Allen, Jared Goff. Josh Allen was leading going into this week, and then they lost on. We'll talk about that in a minute. They lost to New England at home on Sunday night, which I think is tough. You can't lose at home on Sunday night to a division rival. So I think Detroit lost to Green Bay first week of the season. I'm assuming that's what he's referencing. Yeah, but that's probably my top three. I had Josh Allen coming into the week, then they lose. I thought they could have gone undefeated. Looking at their schedule, their two hardest games are Kansas City and Philadelphia. Neither one really playing great football. But that's just my top three. Well, it'll change as we go. But yeah, I dropped Allen to 2. I just said that. See, this is why he's not here tonight, folks. Because he doesn't want when I'm right, he doesn't want to believe that I'm right, and he wants to argue his incorrect points. But it's cool. It is what it is. We just talked about this Denver Philadelphia game. Look, like I said, Denver, Sean Payton, that offense, when you decisively go for it, and you either win or lose, but you make a decision and you stick with your decision and you go for it, I give you all the credit for that. This was a great win by Denver in Philadelphia, and I know we posted this somebody posted this in the chat. Somebody that's not here said, "Well, I know even though Philadelphia's lost, they must be happy they got their stats." And did we not say last week Philadelphia wants to win and wants stats? And if you have a quarterback that cannot get you the football consistently as a receiver, then you have a problem. And I fully understand AJ's problem, and it's also being reported that Devontae Smith has a problem as well with the offense. This is not what we wanted. We said winning. We said winning and stats. You keep missing the winning portion. But just because we want stats, we want to win as well. But like I said, this is a Philadelphia problem. And I think it reared its ugly head again this week when you can't win a ball game because you can't push the ball downfield and you can't get big plays when you needed to. This is what happens in Philadelphia. What are your thoughts on this game?
You have to prep. And you don't prep just to survive. You prep to put your team out there. That's what you need to do. And as a result, I say that to say, if you practice going downfield a bit more often than what you have been doing, then when it gets time to actually do it, you be more accustomed to do it. You try to pull it rapid out jacks, and that's what they've been doing. They get to a point. I mean, the communication between the quarterback and the receivers is future right now. They really have to go and get this thing settled before it gets worse. I said last week, I don't know if this is the team that won 10 games and bottomed out, or the team that's that went all to Super Bowl and won.
I agree.
They are in a flux right now, and they should not be. So either that's egos, either it's just that they're not the same team. It might not be the same Saquon. Saquon ain't killing like he did last year. Clearly, they are making sure defense are making sure that it's not. So somebody should be dominating. If Saquon is under wraps, then the passing game should be 200-300 yards flat out. Because last year, what was happening was when Saquon was dominating, he was giving you damn near 200 yards himself. And then next thing you know, the receivers ain't doing what they're supposed to. They had lackluster numbers. You can't have lackluster numbers from the receiving core and Saquon. That means your offense is just putrid at this point. And that's what they've been doing. They've been surviving by making key defensive plays. They've been surviving by making great special teams plays. That's how they've been surviving. This team very well could be lose 2-3 games on the season as it is now. So it's starting to catch up with them to the point where they caught an L. We see what happens next week and moving forward. But they have to maintain certain things, and they have to plug in some of these holes that's in this boat. And they're not doing it. They're looking to have some more issues.
Look, I completely agree. This team was up 17-3 going into the fourth quarter. And then once Denver scored and they needed a drive to answer back to get any kind of points to make this a 2-possession ball game, they could not do it. And I think that's what we talk about when we said you need to keep these receivers happy. You need to keep the receivers involved in the offense so that when you need them on a drive like that to respond to your opponent's drive to cut it to a 1-score game, then you can make that happen. Once it gets cut 17-10, they go 3 and out and they lose 6 yards on the drive. What happened there? They had penalties. They didn't have a pass over 7 to 8 yards. They weren't able to run the ball either. That's when you need to score the ball. That's when you need to move the ball. Take time off the offense. Get some points on the board to make it a 2-possession ball game. I'm not saying score a touchdown. I'm just saying kick a field goal, get it back to a 2-possession ball game, so that if Denver gets back and scores, then all of a sudden it's now they have to come back and have to get the ball back and score again. But Philadelphia was unable to do that because they can't move the ball on offense consistently in the pass game, and their run game has struggled as well thus far this year. Through the first 5 weeks, they've been masked by this 4-0 record going into last week. So when they saw they were 4-0, everyone thought everything was good, but it's not good on their offense. And the defense has given up key plays as well. But if you hold a team 21 points, I can't be upset that the defense did that when your offense can't put up more than 17. And I think that's the problem. I'm not even sure if it's calling bad plays and not running. They've become one-dimensional. They've become predictable on offense. It's get the ball to Saquon, or we know that there's not going to be any explosive plays in the pass offense. So we could just play over top and keep everything underneath. And even still, when AJ gets an opportunity to make a play, is it the quarterback's fault he can't get the ball? I'm just saying, with Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl, maybe Jalen Hurts is a little bit overrated. That's all I'm saying.
I don't care if he got 1 rush or 2 rushes. It don't make me know. Never mind. You can't tell me that all of a sudden they just stopped calling run and play. Somebody must have been checking out of them things too. We're not going to put that on that. Like Jalen's he's full control of his offense. If he wants to run the ball, he can run the ball. So you might be right when it comes to somebody succumbing to pressure. It might be Jalen. But this was the wrong team to try that on. You don't try to run. Overly pass against PS2 and them boys. That's not the time to do it. So they have some fundamental issues that they need to work out. That's just all it is, and it's starting to leak out into the gameplay. You got Devontae Smith speaking out. Devontae Smith don't talk at all.
He don't say nothing. Yeah,
he don't say anything at all. And he's covering for Jalen or saying something else that's going on with the team. Either way, you have to pay attention when people that don't normally speak starts to speak.
I agree. I completely agree. Like you said, Devontae doesn't speak out at all. And is this team the team from 2 years ago that folded late going down the stretch, or is the team last year that won the playoffs? I've never been a Jalen Hurts hater. I'm just saying he's overrated. If you want to say he's not overrated, feel free to come on here and explain to me why Jalen Hurts is a top whatever quarterback you feel he is. He's overrated. That's all I'm saying. And he's being exposed for someone who hasn't gotten better in the passing game. Every year we've seen Joe Burrow, we've seen Josh Allen, we've seen Lamar Jackson get better in the passing game. Jalen Hurts is in year 5, year 4 as a starter. Has he gotten better in the passing game? Or last year, did Saquon have a generational year and that made his life easier? So if Saquon is a rusher 2,000 yards, why can't Jalen Hurts pick up the slack? That's all I'm saying. Jalen Hurts had 100 yards going into last week. Yes.
Still came out and said something.
Say that again.
I said, I don't care if he had 200 yards. He still came out and said something that he normally don't speak on.
Correct, but he had 100. Yeah, but then he said something going into the game, right? Not after the game, correct?
I thought it was after.
Okay, I thought it was going into the game. But I mean, look, like I said, even still, when you have a plays and you need when your opponent scores and you need to answer back with points, and you go 3 and out, let end of the ball game. That's not your quarterback leading the offense and saying, I'm going to go get these yards. I'm going to go lead us on the drive to get us points. That's all I'm saying. And we want to say the receivers aren't supporting Jalen Hurts. Can it be the other way around? Can Jalen Hurts just be I'm not going to go out on a limb for you guys, or I'm not going to ruffle any feathers. This is what's going on. That could be the cause of it as well. The Super Bowl that was last year that Kansas City had a tough offense, had a terrible defense. Yes, I saw the Super Bowl. It is what it is. And I believe they scored like 21 points on defense. So okay,
it's another game. Next, but he can't talk.
We get off of this. Look, another game we want to talk about, New England and Buffalo. Look, that was the Stephon Diggs game. Stephon Diggs came to play, made Drake May look like an amazing second-year quarterback, and they came to play. Buffalo turned the ball over 3 times. I don't know if they overlooked New England. They're going to Atlanta this week, so I can't imagine that. But division opponents will sneak up on you. This was a great win by New England, and this is why you kind of have to double think. We talk about Buffalo. They're the class of the AFC, but when you 3 turnovers, losing the division matchup in a week in a game in which you're supposed to win on prime time, that could say a lot about Buffalo, in my opinion. I'm not a Josh Allen hater. I hate the Buffalo Bills fans because they're just irrational, and that 0-4 in the Super Bowl has gotten to him. But he still has to make his players better. Say what?
It was in the 90s. You know what you mean?
It don't matter. It don't. We talk about the Cowboys Super Bowls being in the 90s. They lost 4 in a row.
That's the Cowboys.
Can they get over that?
Y'all own to make sure delusional.
They are delusional as well. They keep talking about why the left. The laces were in.
Okay,
Ace Ventura.
That's real close to Ace Ventura. I don't think it's the same thing. But no, at the end of the day, I think Buffalo just they took their eyes off of it. And I don't think that they was overlooking anybody. I just think they just wasn't prepared for a fight. And Patriots were. They see them as clearly Patriots see them. They're the class. They're the class of the AFC East. So they was like, okay, we're gonna punch them in the mouth, and we're gonna see if they can bounce back. Pause. And Josh did not. He started forcing it a little, too much. He tried to be Superman when it didn't call for that. It just called for you to play your game. And that's the problem with that. And Diggs played like a man possessed. I mean, he ain't get in the end zone, but goddamn, he did what he could to take him there. So shout out to Stephon Diggs, shout out to Cardi B and the family. They showed out to Sunday. So it's just one of those things where I don't think this happens again. I think Buffalo is now aware. Sometimes you got to get smacked in the face to realize what's going on. And Buffalo is the better team, but Patriots ain't no slouch, and they're just they're proving that we here. We got a shot to make this playoffs too. Y'all might win the division, but we gonna be right behind y'all, making the playoffs and seeing what's happening once we get there. So I like it. I like the democracy. I like everything that Mike Verbal is bringing to this team. I wish they gave Trey Henderson a little bit more love. Jesus, I mean,
he fumbled though, right? Did he fumble?
Ramon J. Stevenson fumbled Daniel just as much as Derrick Henry.
You're right.
So and then Gibson got out too. I think he got a season-ending injury. So hopefully Trey can get the ball a little bit more because he's explosive, guys. But no, I think I didn't check. I didn't follow this up. I should have, but I think Keon Coleman got in some trouble too for Buffalo. I think he got benched or something like that. So, there's some things that's going on in Buffalo that they need to tighten up now, and this is the time to do it. Once you get that first loss, it's like, okay, and nobody going undefeated. We got to see what's really going on, and this is the time to do it.
Yeah, this was a bad loss by Buffalo just because I feel as though they overlooked New England. 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 1 interception, just sloppy play. They had the time of possession, I think they almost had 36 minutes to New England's 24. New England just had more explosive plays, and they were able to come away with the victory late. But like I said, this game is at home as well, and you're on prime time. You're looking to make a statement in the AFC, and in the year in which Kansas City is down and Baltimore is down, you should be just taking this and run away within the AFC. And to lose a game like this makes you question, this happened, like I said, in Buffalo. What happens when they go to New England? What happens when they go to Miami? What happens when they go to New York? Are they successful?
Beat all of them teams.
I mean, you would think so, but I thought they were going to win on Sunday night. And it's just Drake May took a step in the right direction, in my opinion, in his second year. So, he's slowly coming along to be the second best quarterback in his division. I mean, it's not that hard when the other one's Tua, but I digress. But look, if he's going to be that close this team's going to be that close to Buffalo, and they're only in year 2 and year 1 with Mike Vrabel, is Buffalo's window, shorter than we think? This is the year where Buffalo needs to make a Super Bowl, needs to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, because Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Baltimore are all struggling, are all below 500 at this point. So if they don't do that, then you can start to have the conversation, will they ever make the Super Bowl? I don't even know what this is for. I don't even know what this is for. I said I'm not a Josh Allen hater. I hate Buffalo Bills fans. Is the difference. Are you a Buffalo Bills fan? I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. This is your guy. This is your guy.
Next.
One more game for Week 5. Kansas City and Jacksonville on Monday night. In Jacksonville, it was a phenomenal game. Hope you, I hope you. That was a two of this. I got you.
Definitely a tour joint. Yep, that sounds about right.
This was a great game. Like we said, the primetime games this year thus far have been great, even with all teams played. Jacksonville at home with the win. Jacksonville going down late into the ball game, scoring to take the lead on a Trevor Lawrence calling his own number after falling twice. What does this say about Kansas City in your opinion? What does this loss say about Kansas City? Because these are the type of games that they wouldn't have been close 2-3 years ago when they were at their prime.
You know, I had a full explanation set up, and I chose not to say it. I'm not going to say it. This is on Patrick, man. Patrick did everything to win, and he also did everything for them to lose as well. He's too much of a veteran. He's too great of a player to give up that pick 99. That's more than a pick six. That is a pick 99 because you was that close to scoring. That's a 14-point swing in the terms of the NBA, right? So it's like, no, you could have had 7 points. It was there for you to at least walk away with 3, and then you give up 7, right? That's not Patrick Wright. And it wasn't like they did anything crazy. That man just sat there and just watched the receiver go right in front of him. He had his eyes on Patrick the whole time. Patrick didn't see him. You got to do better than this. So I cannot say, well, if that was Rashee Rice, that makes a difference. No, I can't say none of those things. That was on Patrick. Now, we'll say Hollywood definitely didn't do great when it came to that last drive in which they still kind of had a shot to at least tie the game up. I think, Hollywood left a lot to be desired, and Rashee Rice probably would have did better. But that's neither here nor there. They should not have been in that situation. So I do blame Patrick Mahomes for this one. Now, can they bounce back? They're only 2-3, and like I said, those Chargers, all of the voltage in the Chargers has been volted out. They are not the same. They have lost that lightning bolt that they have. So the division is up for the taking. Somebody just got to go get it. So you can't sleep around with the Chiefs. They're getting better, and they're going to continue to get better. So. Hey, we at week 5 now. That's 5 games. My man was serving the 6-game suspension. He only got one more week. Yeah, and he's back. So we'll see.
Yeah, this was a bad loss for Kansas City. For Jacksonville to be tied with Indianapolis at the top of the division, I don't think anyone saw that coming into the year. Hopefully they keep winning. This is a good story. Hopefully we get this continuous better play from Trevor Lawrence and this offense. If they can get BTJ back involved in the offense or for the first time this year, that would be a great addition as well. With Trevor Etienne and his running game has really been revamped since I believe they traded Tank Bigsby earlier in the season as well. So this offense is kind of doing its own thing. I mean, there still has some lapses. You can't have a delay a game on your last drive as well. That's just rookie mistakes. Your year 5, Trevor, you got to keep going. But to see this team at home on a Monday night, to see that stadium electric, to see the jubilation on their faces when he stumbles to scoring that touchdown late, and then Chris Jones is not lack of play, but some people saying they were trying to let them score. Not really sure what the game plan was on that. Haven't heard anything different, but it's exciting to see Jacksonville. I mean, it's just a change of guard in the AFC, especially in the AFC in general. You're beating one of the better teams that have been to the last 6 AFC championship games. So hopefully Jacksonville keeps it up. And regarding KC, it's going to be a 3-team fight for that division, in my opinion. KC, Denver, and the Chargers. The Chargers already won up on KC. Denver started to turn their play around from playing bad. But did they play bad? Or did they play good teams? They lost Indianapolis early, so we'll see. And that's our week 5 wrap up. I mean, we kind of touched on a lot of these games. Nothing else really stood out. If you want to go Washington and LA, I didn't think Washington will be able to win in LA. That was sort of a surprise to me. Jaden Daniels coming back, leading that team to victory. And they had a slow start on offense as well. So that was kind of a good thing. Now the Chargers did lose on Marion Hampton, their rookie running back, for 4 weeks, I believe. So the offense takes a hit, and then will they rely more on Justin Herbert? I doubt it, because we know who runs the offense out there. So they'll just find somebody else to run the ball even more. But I'm not going to go into the whole coaching staff out there in the Chargers. But anything else stand out to you for Week 5?
Difference between winning and losing and winning record is raised a thing for so many teams. That's a true statement. Not too much. Other than the obvious ones that we just talked about. And then the bye teams they were on bye. So I really didn't. Miami, Carolina. At this point, I can care less about those two teams.
Carolina came back too. Miami was leading that game. Carolina came back.
They definitely did. Like I said, if anything, it's the Cardinals and the Titans, man. Old boy, the running back that
dropped the ball.
Go.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Look, man. Hey. Okay. Since we there,
it's the second time in like 2 weeks. Somebody else
I don't
did
know
it
if
last
the second
week.
time in 2 weeks, but if that makes more sense, would you allow your coach to give you 2 shots like that?
Yeah. So I had heard that he was in trouble before I saw the video, and look. If I'm a head coach and is winner and like every game can determine my future, then I gotta get in his face. But as a grown man, I can't let you do that. You can yell at me all you want to. You can look. You want to say I did something stupid. I made a bonehead move. That's cool. Take me out of the game. Let's talk about it. Chew me out. Whatever. But there's a line that can't be crossed. Because if he would have done something more, we wouldn't be talking about what happened. We would be talking about his reaction to what happened. And I think that's the problem. So it's a line that can't be crossed. He crossed that line, in my opinion.
Yeah. Nah. I wouldn't do that. That's true. I don't know. It wasn't him, but the fact that someone has done that twice in the same amount of weeks is crazy. You got to learn from the other guy. Sometimes you got to take heed from the other person, and it was A.D. Mitchell that did it last week, and that caused them the game.
Yeah, it did because they lost to the Rams. Yep.
Right. So we can't allow that. Just hold on to the ball. But nah, man, I'm not gonna let nobody just give me a shot like that. Then he did it twice, bro. Like he ain't walk away with nothing. Like you got to. If I would have saw the player like walk away in frustration, then I'd have been like, you know what? He probably wanted to hit him back, but he realized where he's at. Right. I get that. He just kind of stood there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I ain't feeling that. Coach
he's a rookie. Is he a rookie coach?
I think it's his first year. If not second year. Like he ain't no veteran. You know what I'm saying? So, he just a regular guy. As soon as he get fired, he a regular dude, man.
True.
So I ain't gonna let him check me twice, man. That first one I at least looked at him like, yo, homeboy, like this ain't that kind of party. Then he came back and did it again. I was like, oh, somebody's Mitch made.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Look, getting into these picks from last week, as I said, I did go 4-1. One more victory than both you and my other co-hosts.
That's just not accurate.
So when you wonder why I'm always on the opposition of their opinions, just remember who's right and who's wrong, who speaks the truth, whose opinions lacks truth. Just remember that when you get one as well. I keep saying I'm gonna start these CT3 picks on Fridays. I got to get with it. We'll all make some money, but do we have a special?
No, I don't think it is.
Okay.
I just disagree with this. I demand a recount.
That's fine.
I demand, because I know I called the Denver game. I know I called Tampa Bay. That's at least 2 right there. I know I got more than up. I know I did more than that.
We'll go back and look. I'm pretty sure you didn't call Denver. I think that's
my dad sure did.
We can go back and look, because we're going to have to. I'm gonna clip this and put it in there so we can just see the argument behind my reasoning for these great picks. So. And look, the count is accurate. So as I said, we'll see if you can catch up. We'll see if you can catch up next week. We'll see if you can catch up next week. It's cool.
Should be on the lookout for somebody doing wrong stuff. He ain't worried about what's going on.
We'll see if you can catch up next week, and hopefully Larry stays here so we can get his picks as well as we go through these. So first off, Thursday night, Philadelphia and New York. Will Philadelphia bounce back? Who you got?
I got Philadelphia.
Okay.
Saying it clear as day.
Okay.
Who
No reason. What? No reason behind your pick, just Philadelphia?
It's freaking the Giants.
Okay.
They're not going to let Scatterbo and the other boy come in and win a game. Not after getting beat like that.
I was going to say Dayball, but it ain't him.
No, we got what, Jackson Dart?
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart and Scatterbo is not going to come in this game and beat Philadelphia. So I'm going with Philadelphia just on the strength of that alone. No more Malik Neighbors. Jackson Dart didn't play well last week. Scatterbo he all right, but you're going against that Philly line. That Philly line is different. So no, it's definitely Philadelphia.
Look, that Giants defensive line can be different as well, but I'm going Philadelphia. Look, they're not going to lose back-to-back games. They have been dominating this division outside of Washington. So I'm going Philadelphia. I don't think this is. Don't overthink this one, in my opinion. Go with Philadelphia. San Francisco and Tampa Bay. I believe this is in Tampa Bay, right?
Yes.
Okay. You go first. Go ahead.
I just went first. You go first.
So with this being in Tampa Bay, you don't have a thing about West Coast teams going east. And this is a 4:00 game. This is a 4:00 game. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I think they have the better offense right now. I think they're coaching as well to kind of win these games within a close margin. Back-to-back weeks, all 4 victories. Hopefully they'll start to get healthier. Godwin will be back in a couple weeks. Hopefully Mike Evans will be back in a couple weeks. Will Bucky Irvin play this week?
I will say Godwin's already playing.
Is Bucky Irvin playing this week?
Bucky is not playing as of today.
Is he on IR?
No, he is not on IR.
Okay. I still think they have the better offense, and we're talking about a 49ers team where I'm not sure who's starting at quarterback yet. They had 10 days off. Mac Jones did play on Thursday night against the Rams. So they've had 10 days off. So we'll see if Purdy. I know there's been some talk about what his injury status is. But we'll see if he plays. But I'm going with the Bucks. They're at home. Even though like Mac Jones played well against the Rams, I feel like the Rams kind of gave him that game. They made too many mistakes, and then they kind of let them hang around. I don't think Tampa Bay will do that. I do think it'll be a close game, but I got Tampa Bay late.
This is the first game in which Tampa Bay beats a team and not in the last seconds of the game. I believe that Mac Jones is going to have his worst game. And that way, that gives Brock Purdy a chance to come in without no big controversy or anything like that. I think some of the hoopla, some of the love, some of the support might be getting to Mac Jones, and I think it's going to be up to him. And I think he's going to be the reason why they lose this particular game. I still think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a good game, but I'm not seeing too much out this team, especially throughout their wide receiver core. Shout out to the players they picked up. They picked up Kendrick Bourne, and he had like 25 catches or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't see that against us, and I think they're going to struggle. So somebody got to make Mac Jones look like a backup, and it should be us. So shout out to the Bucks.
Yeah, that is true. They had a lot of injuries, but they still seem to overcome for once, and they're 4-1 right now. I agree.
They have a system. They have a better system.
I do want to say one thing. Did you see the Quentin Williams Tampa Bay? The two things. Did you see the Quentin Williams Tampa Bay rumors? Do you agree with that? It was like a 1. I think it was a 1 this year, a 2 next year, and 4 or something next year. Would you do that if you were in Tampa Bay? If you're in Tampa Bay?
No. Not at all.
Okay.
We good where we at.
2, the Mark Andrews rumors. I know that's Baker's guy. They went to Oklahoma.
I heard that one, and I'm not going to lie. Cade Otten, that's our starting tight end. He's doing his job. I'm not going in front. He's doing his job. He's just not getting the stats like that. And if y'all want a 6th-round pick for him, yeah, we can make that. We can make that happen. I wouldn't mind that at all. Just another red zone threat. We don't need him for too much else. We don't need him to juke, jive, or do anything in between balls. We just need him to hopefully catch the ball. If he can do that, if it's in his bread basket, and if he don't drop it. It's a lot of ifs when it comes to Mark Andrews, but he played with Baker, and he's familiar with Baker. And there's certain ways to throw the ball. Actually, let me say that for a second. There are certain ways to deliver a ball to the receiver. There are certain ways to do it. And Baker Mayfield knows how to throw the ball accurately to the point where it's though you have no choice but to catch it. So it might work out for us.
You want to respond to that?
What do you say?
If anything, do y'all need more offensive? Anything, one of our running backs?
We can always use an extra person in case people go down. Clearly, we're fighting the injury bug over here.
I was going to say that.
You didn't see Bucky Irvin. Clearly, you don't see Mike Evans. Clearly, you see Chris Godwin coming back off an injury. So, yeah, we always need extra. And he can block his ass off, too. That's one thing I'm going to give Mark Andrews credit for. He's a hell of a blocker.
Yeah.
So, we always need somebody else to come in and block, from time to time. It's time for Likely to shine. It's time for y'all to let the handcuffs go off of Likely. Let him shine accurately because he's healthy right now.
I agree.
Y'all could just give us Mark Andrews for a 6th-round conditional pick.
I don't think the conversation is an issue. I mean, I think that could be agreed upon easily. 5, 6, somewhere in that vicinity. It's Baker's guy, so I think that it makes it an easier deal to get done. And like adding him to that offense where you have it when healthy, you have a Godwin, a Buka, you have a Mike Evans, and like you said, a K-Dot and a Bucky Irvin, and I'm blanking Ricard White. I think that I don't think it's a bad thing for Tampa Bay because you said injury bug has bitten them. So if you can get a Mark Andrews and that lets you win a couple more ball games, and all of a sudden Mike Evans can sit one more week and become healthier, I don't think that's a bad thing. And then in the playoffs, we have all these options and that Baker's comfortable with.
We're gonna sit Mark Andrews in the playoffs. We don't want Mark Andrews playoff performances.
That's disrespectful. He got more playoff success than Baker Mayfield.
We can move on, but we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
We haven't engaged in the conversation. You talking about let's move?
No bad juju.
I think y'all should make the move. I like the Quentin Williams move as well, because if y'all go for it, because this year I think it's time to go for it. So next we got Dallas in Carolina after Bryce Young and them get their first win. I think this is an easy pick. I'm taking Dallas. I don't even know the point spread. I'm taking Dallas easily in this ball game. If you pick any different, you're going against my boy MVP Dak Prescott.
Your boy MVP. Yo, who are you? Yo, you make me sick, yo. You wasn't even feeling this team like that in the beginning of the season. Yo, I'm not gonna let you do that. Yo, that's crazy right now. With that being said, I want to go Carolina. In my heart, I'm going Carolina. But I am going with the Cowboys to win this game. They could be 3-2-1. I'll be okay with that.
Winning record, like I said. Next, Seattle and Jacksonville. Look, Jacksonville's been playing well. They got a short week coming off Monday night. Their victory against Kansas City. This is a team. Now we talked about Tampa Bay going to Seattle. Now this is the same trip from Seattle to Jacksonville. I'm gonna take Jacksonville this matchup. I don't like West Coast teams playing at 1:00. I think Jacksonville's been playing well. I think that this offense has been playing well. I think that their defensive line can get after the quarterback. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I think it's going to be a close game. This is the type of game, if you're Jacksonville and you're taking the next team, you win this ball game. It's a short week. You have a team coming to you from across the country. You have to win this ball game. I don't care if it's about 3 points, 7 points, 10 points. You got to win this ball game.
I agree with the travel. I think that affects certain teams. Yeah, you can put that up there. That's true. That is a true statement. Sam Darnold he's been balling. I think he's proven that
he plays well at home though. That was at home. So
he is a good week 1 through week 15 quarterback.
Yeah.
I will give him that. But I'm going with Jacksonville on this one. Just for the simple fact that they are home, for the simple fact that they are riding. They're a little high right now. And the most important thing for me is that they're starting. I don't know if this is a continuation thing. I hope that it continues. But they used Travis Hunter for 60 plays last game. 60. He got in on 60 plays. So he was playing for the majority of the game. And that's what I want to see. I think he was locked up with Travis Kelce a lot. So let's get him out there. Let's continue that. And let's see where we can go. He's making spectacular catches, man. His spectacular catch on Madden should be like a 99. And then everything else should be like in the 70s. but he can make some decent grabs, man. So throw him out there, see what he can do, man. I agree. They got up for Kansas City, but now we got to see what kind of player, what kind of team they are. Can Lynn Cohen continue this momentum that they have right now, especially with a team coming from Seattle over to your town?
Correct.
You got to smash them, man.
That's why I said if they take that step, they win this ball game. This is a key step for Jacksonville. Next up, we got Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I think this is the first divisional matchup for Pittsburgh. This is like Cleveland's third or fourth, I believe, because they played the Ravens, they played Cincinnati. This is their third. Pittsburgh had a week off. I didn't really see a lot from Dylan Gabriel in London playing against Minnesota. I'm not really sure.
You might see a lot.
Did you saw a lot from Dylan Gabriel?
Goddamn good against the Vikings.
I mean, I guess my point is he didn't what is there something that you could build upon with him? Yes, but do I think he can win? Do I think he will eventually be replaced by Shedeur Sanders because he's not the definite quarterback? Yes. So I got
absolutely
Pittsburgh as a matchup.
I'm sorry, Shedeur. It's over for you, my guy.
Nah, he gonna play.
He's not taking that. He looked too good. I'm not saying he was he came out there looking like, I'm trying to think of a great Cleveland quarterback. He ain't come out there looking like Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, he played pretty goddamn well enough to say, okay, he kind of deserved that backfield spot a little bit. Like we can see it. And I was hoping he was going to fall on his face. I was hoping he was going to fall on his face, but he did not. He was moving around and stuff. He did what he's supposed to do. And I got love for Cleveland. Cleveland's going to win some games. Cleveland is not going to win this game. Pittsburgh
I was going to win this game. Next up, we got Cincinnati and Green Bay. I'm not sure if Flacco is going to be playing. If they're going to have a package for him, but
he's a veteran.
Yeah, but it's Cincinnati at Green Bay. Green Bay coming off the bye. I got Green Bay in this matchup. I think we may see a little bit of Flacco, especially if the score gets out of control, just to get him acclimated to the offense and get him meshing with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown. So I'm gonna go Green Bay. Oh, he is starting. I think he is starting. Yeah,
Flacco starting.
Yeah, okay.
Who you got?
I'm still gonna go Green Bay. This is probably my pick for most total points of the week, but I'm gonna go Green Bay.
Okay. All right. Who Larry go with? You ain't say yet?
He said Pack. He said Pack at home.
Okay, Pack at home. Okay, bet. I'm right. Okay. All right. Cincinnati. I just needed to see that he was going to start or not. If you tell me I got Flacco and that joint out, Flacco good for at least 200, 250 yards. Flacco won't get you 250, 270 yards in his first game. And that's enough to beat Green Bay. I'm not afraid. I don't think anybody's afraid of Green Bay anymore. After that tie and these putrid performances they've been putting up, they're not the same Packers as they used to be anymore. So with them underperforming, I think Cincinnati gets a surge under Flacco. It just take one play for Jamar Chase to get off. Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, it's this first week, but for every point they score, they're going to give up 10 points. It don't change the defense none, so Packers. Next, we got Detroit and Kansas City. I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, man.
I think this is Sunday Night Football, actually. Is it? Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I got, man, I want to go KC. I think KC has the will to win. I just don't think they have the skill set right now to win. So, no, I'm going, man, strike me a conviction. Get off the fence about it. I'm going Kansas City on this one. It's just something about Jared Goff, man. I think he's too high right now, and I think he's going to have a bad Jared Goff game. I think he's going to succumb to the pressure of playing Kansas City. I think he's going to come to the pressure of playing outside. I think I think Gibbs and Montgomery, they're going to do their thing, but they're not going to be able to get off pause like they normally do. Shout out to Chris Jones and them boys. I think they're going to play Nick Bolton and I think they're going to play well enough, and Kansas City is going to find a way to win at the end. And Detroit, more so than not, Jared Goff, more so than not, is going to find a way to lose this game.
I'm going Detroit. I normally pick Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes in these games, but Detroit's playing well. Detroit beat them a couple years ago to start the season. I don't see how these teams have changed very much from that point. They've scored, I think I want to say they scored at least 30 points in every game outside of week 1 against the Packers this year. Right now, they're rolling on offense. They just put up 37 points against the Bengals, and that game wasn't as close as score, man. It seemed was 37-24, I believe, but that was a late touchdown by Cincinnati just to make it semi-respectable. So I'm going to go with Detroit this matchup, even though they're on the road in Kansas City. They've played well on the road thus far this year. They went to Baltimore and played well. I think that was the only, and they played Green Bay. So those are the 2 road games, but they're playing well. It's still warm outside, so that offense can still roll outside. So I'm going with Detroit. Yeah, that wasn't good Chris Jones tape from Monday night, so I kind of agree with that. Last game of the week, Buffalo and Atlanta. Buffalo tries to bounce back in Atlanta. I think this is one of the 2 Monday night games. I don't know why it's 2 Monday night games in October. Look, Buffalo, in my opinion, they're a good team. They're not great offensively, or they're not great defensively. They're a good team overall with a great quarterback. Atlanta in the dome, that offense with Bijan, who seem to kind of start get rolling a little bit. Can they play well on defense good enough to hold the Buffalo offense to question? I'm going to go Atlanta. I think the offense can play well enough at home to score enough points. I think that they can get 1 turnover or 1 stop on defense to kind of get the lead or kind of make it a 2-score game at some point. And they have a mobile quarterback, which has seemed to give Buffalo problems outside the pocket, getting yards in the run game. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Which Falcon tends to show up the one that's going to lose against Buffalo, because Josh Allen's going to have at least 4 touchdowns by himself. Buffalo hands down.
He might.
It's not going to be close. Even if it is close, they're still going to find a way to blow it out in the 4th quarter. I just don't trust Atlanta against this big game. Although they had time to prepare for them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
this is Josh Allen talking about.
Coming off a bye week as well. So
I'm off bye week with the L. It's the Atlanta way.
Okay. So these are the rest of week 6 matchups. One matchup that we didn't talk about that I find myself interested in is Chicago and Washington. This is kind of a repeat game of last year with Washington's Hail Mary to beat Chicago. They're playing at home. Washington's playing at home again. I believe it's the other Monday night game. This is J.D. Fowler's first home game since he's coming off since missed the game a couple weeks ago, and I think in Atlanta. So I think this is going to be a good matchup. So what other matchup kind of intrigued you of the ones we talked about for week 6?
We live in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
We highlight them. So as a result of that, I'm definitely looking forward to the Baltimore Ravens.
You're not a Ravens fan, so what the man?
Can I talk? Can I talk? I thought it was my turn to talk. You asked me what game I was interested in as I checked. So the game that I'm interested in, I want to make sure that the mic here clearly paused. I'm interested in the Ravens versus the Rams because I want to see how great of a game Puka Nacua is going to have against them. That's what I want to see. I want to see how great of a game Puka is going to do. Is he going to have 15 catches for over 200 yards? That's the type of performance I need to know. Why is that important? Because he has the type of quarterback that's going to make sure that he has a certain games along the season to help him break records. Why? What evidence do you have? Oh, because he happened to throw it to Calvin Johnson, in which he broke a couple of Jerry Rice's records. Oh, he just happened to have a Triple Crown winner in Cooper Kupp. So he has a history of having receivers spotlight on a particular year. And this is a Puka Nacua's year to have one of those types of seasons. And he's going to have that season, and he's going to have one of those games against the Baltimore Ravens over 200 yards. Mark it down. What the kids say, clock it. That's what they say.
You finished?
I'm done. That was it.
Oh, right.
I had a lot of snacking in the background.
I don't need to talk about that damn game. Moving on to fantasy next week. Oh, let's take a step back and look at last week. We'll talk about that guy Larry who won a game. He beat somebody who hasn't. I don't think Tim's won the game this year, but I digress. Moving on to my team, put up the second most amount of points once again this week. A team that has had injury concerns, has had suspension concerns. We rotated quarterbacks, but yet and still we are finally one game below 500. I did all that to say I'm on the right train. I'm on the right train. Did you win last
Well,
week? You did win last week. You beat.
I won back to back week, sir.
First time
And
all year.
I only got 3 wins, so I had to be a first time. So it's we turning the corner and we turning. So who had Hank Staggens? Who the hell is that?
It's HJ.
HJ. He had to acknowledge the boy, you know what I'm saying? So every week, so just there's different people to acknowledge the future winner of a particular week. So he had to acknowledge me. It's all good. I got love for HJ, man. Shout out to HJ, man.
Looking at the standings, still slowly moving up that list. That lost a couple weeks ago to Leonard, that still hurts. Should have won that ball game. I don't remember who was playing. I believe that was a Cincinnati game on Sunday night and Monday night, whatever it was. But still putting up points, slowly starting to back in the playoff picture. It's still early. So
shout out to Larry. He on a 3-game winning streak, and it's important to have winning streaks.
I wonder who ended that. Who he's only won 3 in a row because he couldn't beat me that week before. But it's okay. That one loss is because of me.
Well, right after that 3-game winning streak, your boy got 2 games, in a winning streak. Looking forward to move forward on that one. So, we all right. We all right. We're not where we want to be, but we far from where we were at. You know what I'm saying? That's positivity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm putting up points. So look, we're getting used to the team. We're starting to get healthy again. I think I had everybody on my bench on the bye week last week. So whoever I started, that's all I had. And still won that matchup. So once I can get past that, it's looking good for your boy right now. Moving on to the NBA that starts in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday, October 21st. We're going to go into 2 divisions a week. Last week we did, I believe, the Southwest and the Southeast, and the Southwest. We talked about.
Continuation what you were saying.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to start off with the Pacific Division. That's the division near and dear to my heart with the Lakers. And it's sad to say that we have Luka Doncic's picture. We no longer have LeBron's picture as the face of LA. But starting with this division, starting with Golden State, in my opinion, who I think have a chance to win this division, but they are an older team. They're relying on a young Jonathan Kuminga, and just what he brings to the table. Even they're past that contract dispute. But I think they need to gain his trust again. They need to be able to say, we're going to work into the offense. You're going to be one of our main players when stepping out on the court. It's not Jimmy. It's not Draymond. It's you. We're going to rely on your offensive capability. We're going to rely on your athleticism to guard defensively as well. We're going to get you this playing time. So I think that's where Golden State starts. I'm not sure outside of Steph if there's enough offense or they're going to rely on Steph to do much. They also signed Horford, so they're kind of getting this older team that hopefully stays healthy going into the playoffs. What are your thoughts on Golden State?
Golden State will do just enough to be in the bottom half of the playoff picture. I think that's just where they're at. I don't think they try to press on throughout the season. I think they try to coast. Win out of 10. I think they have a 10-game type of a mindset. If we win about 6 to 8 of these games, we all right. And we just keep moving every time. And I think that's where they're at. They're not going to get too above themselves. They're not going to get too below themselves. They have Steph Curry. They brought over Seth Curry. So shout out to just saying that them on the floor at the same time. That'd be just good to see. But when it comes to this team, it's no rush. You're not gonna rush this team to be great. They're gonna take their time and they're gonna pick and pride when they need to play great, and then they will do that because I give Golden State that much. Can they get a big though? I mean, I'm just saying. Can they find someone that's over 6'10"? That's legit. That's not agent Al Horford. That's all I'm looking for. If they can find that, then they'd be even better.
Moving on to one of the LA teams, the Clippers. They still haven't put this Kawhi saga behind them, but I think Adam Silver already said that it's not going to be a penalty to the to the point where Kawhi would be forced to leave the Clippers. So they also signed a couple of veterans. They signed Brad Beal. They signed Brook Lopez and Chris Paul again. So they are pretty deep, but they are deep with older players. So they just want to stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they think they have a chance. I think this team has a chance to make the top six and avoid the play-in. But it's going to rely on how often Kawhi decides to play. Is he going to play 65 games this year? Is he only going to play 40 games? They do have the ability to have scoring without him when you add a Brad Beal and you add a CP3 who's going to come off the bench for you, and you still have James Harden. They have a lot of players, and they also added a Norm Powell from Miami. They have a ton of players, a ton of scoring ability. I just don't know if their superstar can't play enough. Do they have, and everyone has to take a step into a greater position? Can they do that? Just not sure about that. What are your thoughts on the Clippers?
This team is going to break down, and everybody's going to be hurt at different points of the season. They're going to have I'm not going to say a preacher record, but they're not going to the playoffs. I don't see this team going to the playoffs. They should go, but they don't have any horses anymore, man. I know I said Golden State can cruise because they have Steph Curry, and Steph Curry is one of the type of, he's different, right? I have to rely on Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. Harden can do it. I'm not going to take it away from Harden, but I'm not going to rely on Kawhi. I'm not going to rely on Kawhi. That's a tongue twister pause. But at the end of the day, they have too many. You got Chris Paul, bro. You brought over Brook Lopez. Can we get people in the game that's less than 35? Jeez, that's what I'm looking at. They got too many older. They don't have enough athletes anymore. They got rid of all of them. So I just don't see them. I just don't see them going to the play. It's 82 games, man. It's a long season, man. And you got to tell me that there's a majority of this team is going to stay healthy. I don't see it. Not going to see it.
Going to the Lakers, the other team in LA. What are your thoughts?
You got a 40-year-old guy. That's no. Shout out to LeBron, man.
The decision part two.
Shout out to the Hennessy, man. What's it, Hennessy, right? What's
Hennessy. It's Hennessy.
Just like a Negro. God damn it. Fool us all.
Shout out Kenya.
Shout out to Kenya. He said it. This is going to be led by Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic and the crew, and we're going to see what they can do. Shout out to AR. AR is still there. They still got players. But at the end of the day, Luka Doncic will be good enough to take you to the playoffs if he doesn't get hurt. Even if he gets hurt for a small amount, just as long as he don't miss like half the season. They're good enough. This team, it doesn't matter. They just have to get to the playoffs. And I think Luka is just good enough to carry them into the playoffs. Even if you got to drag them into the playoffs, he's good enough. And once they get there, we will see at that particular point in time, can he use DeAndre Ayton enough? Can he be solid as a big enough in order to win this, to help them win games? And so far, it doesn't look like it, but it's just a preseason.
That's true.
We will see. And he's a big question mark for them. If he can catch lobs at the end of the day, that's all they need him to do. Just catch the ball, man.
Yeah, I think this will be a interesting season because it's the first time LeBron plays the power forward in which Anthony Davis is not the center, and you're not, making Anthony Davis guard centers and playing the paint primarily. So it'll be a lot on DeAndre Ayton to get those rebounds, to catch lobs, to be a force in the paint. And we'll see where that goes. But I think Luka has the potential. This is potential to be his MVP season. I think when we get to Denver, I think Denver's probably one of, if not the best team in the West. But Luka's right up there in top 2 or 3. Luka's in shape. Luka has had time off this season. Look, if he comes in, this is the first time I think he's coming in shape. He had a shorter offseason last year, coming off the finals appearance against the Celtics. So, he's healthy. He's in shape. We'll see what happens from there. Of course, they have a lot of primetime games. I think they have a chance to be in the top 6. We'll make our official predictions later. But I think if you have one of the best players in the world, in Luka Doncic, you have a top 10 to 20 player in LeBron James. If you can just monitor his minutes, that the problem becomes when he wants his numbers and he has to get those minutes. And he has to get those numbers in his allotted minutes. You got to kind of force feed him the ball, but they have a potential to be a top 16 with the best player in the world, with potentially the MVP. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But I like the outlook for this team, especially going forward with the cap room, with the moves you'll be able to make after the season. So going on to Phoenix, who had a tumultuous all season. Got rid of Brad Beal, got rid of another coach, got rid of KD, and it's just Booker's team again. And he signed an extension. He loves being in Phoenix. They're paying him well, so you can't be upset. I don't. This team has no draft picks. Really got worse in the course of the offseason, in my opinion. I think this team is lucky if they make the play-in tournament as a non-seed. I'm sorry, but I don't see what else they can do. I mean, this is Booker's team who put up numbers, and but they won't win a lot of ball games. This is Booker and Phoenix Suns from pre CP3. They're going to put up numbers. He's going to score a lot of points, but they're not going to win a lot of ball games.
This is going to be the Washington Wizards of the West. This is going to be an it show throughout the whole entire season. You're going to have Devin Booker trying to jack up shots. You're going to have Jalen Green trying to jack up shots. This is going to be. You got Dylan Brooks over there just strolling and stuff. This is going to be a fun season to watch. This is going to be heartbreaking for the D Book fan that really thought that he was like making that move to one of the best players in the league, like no question.
Best shooting guard. All that stuff.
That's definitely taking at least 3 steps back now. He'd be better off just getting up out of there, to be honest with you. But the money's the money, right? So you had to take the money and stay. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a shit show, and I'm here for it. I got the popcorn ready right now. I can't wait to Jalen Green is unhinged right now. He's uncoached right now. He doesn't have Ime with him or nothing like that. He's not the youngest person anymore in the locker room. He's coming in with his own bag with Drea.
That is true.
Call his ass out behind him. This is going to be funny to watch. I can't wait. Shout out to Phoenix.
And rounding up Sacramento, look, Sacramento had a chance a couple of years ago. When they lost to Golden State, I believe it was a 3-6 matchup. That was the beginning of the end for this team. They traded De'Aaron Fox. They signed DeMar. They traded for Zach LaVine. They're trying to figure out a way to get Russell Westbrook, who's still a free agent. This team will bring up the bottom of the barrel in the league. It's time to blow it up once again in Sacramento. You had a nice, although short run, but at this point, you've gotten older. Your best player is Sabonis. You really don't have a point guard. You got scoring on the Bishop Malik Monk. It's a lot of things going wrong in Sacramento. I'm sorry. It's time to blow this thing up.
Agreed.
That's enough. So who you got win this division?
I got Golden State. Well, I give it to Luka. Luka's going to win the division. I give it to him.
Okay, I agree. I think the Lakers are the best team, and they'll have the best player. So I go with Luka. And we're also going to talk about the Central Division as well tonight on our NBA preseason tour. Look, this Giannis stuff. I know I don't have Milwaukee being that good. I'll see my time. You want to talk about Giannis. Go ahead.
Milwaukee will be a playoff team. We'll say that because Giannis is that good. He'll be right outside the top 4. We got to Golden State on that. He'll be right outside the top 4. So shout out to that. But at the end of the day, the talk of the town is the fact that Giannis was saying that it was one team that he was interested in. If he was going to get traded, it was going to be New York. That's what it was. So, the GMs and the powers that be got to talking, and we just didn't offer them a package bars that they deemed good enough. And as a result, Giannis is still in Milwaukee. This was talks in August. At the end of the day, this is what's going to happen. If Giannis really wants to leave out, he has to say, I want out, and New York is where I want to go. That way, we can condense the package of players that we can offer. Until then, Milwaukee is going to want what they should get, whether it's Mitchell Robinson, OG, Josh Hart, and draft compensation and stuff. Right? They're going to want a lot because it's freaking Giannis, man. So if he doesn't come out and say and make it public, that's the only way to shrink those offers down to maybe 1 or 2 players, and we call it a day. And shout out to New York. Don't give them too much. We don't want all that. Giannis is great. I'm not saying Giannis, Cat, and JB, we can make some noise, of course. But what we got going right now, we got some things going right now. We good over here. We'll wait for that when that time comes when we talk about the Atlantic Division or whatever they're in. So we're gonna leave it for that.
I agree with everything you said.
Say it again.
I said I agree with everything you said. Giannis has to say definitively I won out. I think it's coming sooner rather than later. I heard the report that his wife and his kids are staying in Greece instead of coming to Milwaukee this year.
Yes, they are in
I think
right now.
I think that's a sign because when you say you won out, you know everyone's going to go after you, your family, everything that's attached to you, and that's it in Milwaukee. So I think that's a sign. If they get off to a bad start, I think that's when he makes the call. I really think it's best for them to wait trade deadline maybe next summer, but I don't know if Giannis wants to wait that long. But I do think that's a sign when he says when his family chose not to come back for this long NBA season, says she's only coming back. I believe she said Christmas, New Year's. I believe that's what I read in the article. That's a sign. Milwaukee gets off to a bad start. I think it's best for Giannis to leave as soon as possible. Whatever you want to say about the move that he okayed in Milwaukee, that's one thing, but they are not contending for a title anytime soon, as great as Giannis is. I think there are 3 or 4 teams that have the potential to make a Giannis trade. New York, Oklahoma City, Indiana possibly have the chance. But if you have your choice, you want to go to that big market and you want to be the one that brings the title back to New York, you make that call. But I think they make the play in, maybe the 6th seed, but it can be rough if he's there the entire year. I just don't like to make up their team. And just talk about the Russell Westbrook sign as well. We're gonna let them make up their team. Moving on to Cleveland, I think that's the peak of this division. A team that got knocked out in the second round in playoffs last year, but they returned all 5 starters. They get another year to kind of gel, and hopefully they face less resistance because there's no Indiana Pacers team. So I like this Cleveland team. I think that they don't have to play as well in the regular season, but they should with how down the East is. They should dominate this Eastern Conference more than they did last year.
I agree. Cleveland is just built for the regular season. They got 2 great wings and 2 great bigs, and they work well together. We all know that their barometer, their judge is the postseason. Can they do well in the postseason, in which they have been underperforming to say the least? You expect Cleveland to at least make the conference finals at least once. So we'll see what happens this year. But no one's afraid of Donovan Mitchell at the end of the day. When you're led by Donovan Mitchell, you're going to lead yourself into a second round exit, and that's about as far as you're going to go. And unfortunately, that's just what it is. And it falls on Donovan Mitchell. He has to play better, and we'll see what he can do. He has the type of team that he should be vying for MVP. But no one looks at MVP and looks at Donovan Mitchell in the same category. They're too far from each other. So somebody got to do some work. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But yeah, they're going to be a great regular season team. 1 or 2 in the conference. We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Oh, look, Indiana, we know about the injury to Tyrese Halliburton. I think everyone thinks they take a step back this year. I think I would have liked them better with Miles Turner, of course, but they're a team that just doesn't want to spend money. And after going on this great run last year, they choose to let Miles Turner walk. I don't know if this team makes the playoffs. I think they can make the play in. I don't think you rush Tyrese Halliburton back. He towards Achilles in June. It's only been 4 months, like almost 4 months at this point. I think this team, they don't make the playoffs. They don't make the play in. If they do the 8th, 9th seed, and they want a top draft pick when Tyrese Halliburton comes back healthy. But I don't think the outlook for Indiana is great for this year.
It's tough to argue. I just don't think that Indiana has enough. We got to see. You lose your starting center and your starting point guard basically in a year, in the same offseason in a sense, right? So we have to understand what that looks like for them. And you're right. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. It's good not to see Tyrese in out here. It's good to see Tyrese missing the season. I ain't got to worry about his ass. You are 100% right. I don't like the fact that I see him on my goddamn wrestling shows that I watch. I wish he just not show his face, and that'd be great for me. But at the end of the day, It's Pascal Siakam and it's the rest of them, not Hart, Nehart, and everybody else, and Newsom, and them. We'll see what they can do. Rick Carlisle, you got some coaching to do. Will they still be good enough to make the play-in? Yes. Will they win the play-in? I doubt
it. Okay. Chicago Bulls, lottery team, didn't get much better. That's all I got. I ain't gonna waste time on them.
Hey man, shout out to OKC boy. What's his name? The white boy.
Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey, man. Josh Giddey gonna take over this team, him and Kobe White, and they're gonna lead themselves right outside the playoffs and the play-in as well. So they're not gonna make play-in either. So shout out to the fact that they're gonna win a good 25 to 30 games this year.
And Detroit, in my opinion, Detroit is a sneaky good team.
What the hell does that mean?
I think they lost the first round last year. I think they have the potential. They have the potential with just getting better and also being a sneaky Lloyd marketing team that they can be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. I think Cade has the potential to be the best guard in the Eastern Conference. The best guard in the Eastern Conference. I'll let that sink in. But I think this Detroit team is up and coming. They got a lot of good defenders. Amen Thompson. They have finally had some good coaching. I really want to see them make a move. I really want to see them get Lloyd marketing. I think that if you add him to a Cade Cunningham and have him be the second option, you get a better defender, another scorer, another playmaker. So I'm really think the bar for Detroit has gone up a little bit, especially with all the injuries in the Eastern Conference, with Boston and with Indiana, that they should potentially host a first round playoff series. Now, there's still competition. We haven't talked about a couple of teams, but I think that's right now should be the ceiling for Detroit this year. And if they can do that, I think they can win a first round matchup.
You know what? If you're saying Cade could be the best guard in the Eastern Conference, I agree. He has a low level LeBron James-esque type of a game. He can take over. He's 6'8". He can handle the rock. He can dish when wanted. He can shoot the tray. He can really do it all. And you just hope that he just doesn't have the options to do so. And that's really what it is. We pretty much, the New York Knicks, we pretty much just centered our whole defensive attention around him. And he couldn't get past that as a team, because the team wasn't lights out no more. Dennis Schroeder wasn't shooting lights out like he did. Malik Beasley was caught up in gambling, so he allegedly, so he wasn't necessarily the same guy anymore.
I mean, he got
his honor. He's good. Yeah. But he was off that series though. So, but he was on throughout the whole regular season. And they got Ivy coming back, right? So we're gonna see how he incorporates that with being a combo guard now. Like, you gotta, Cade is that dude. You can't be having the ball like that. Cade needs to make most of the decisions. So we'll see when it comes to that. But Detroit has the skill set. They have the fortitude. They are tough enough to definitely make some noise in the Eastern Conference. So I got nothing but love for them. So yes, he can be the best guard in the Eastern Conference, pushing for the league. Like it's almost his turn to be one of those guys. So I got a lot of love for Cade Cunningham. It's just I ain't got that much love for the Detroit Pistons, in which they don't want to see the New York Knicks, because we'll smash them. But besides that, he's a great player. He's definitely. You know what? He is the player that you want to be. Donovan Mitchell and other players should want to be just like Cade Cunningham.
I'm just going to add this real quick, just because your Donovan Mitchell comment, and then I'll go to the face that Larry just sent. Okay. Who you got win this division, though? Or is it that cut and dry, just Cleveland?
Cleveland and Detroit following it up.
Does Detroit make it interesting with Cleveland?
Only if Cleveland takes their foot off the pedal and realize that the regular season is not that important, because they are now a postseason team. Some teams just go through that way as though you can see them like, they definitely took the night off, and I can see Cleveland start that process to make sure that they're fresher, that they're more exuberant towards the end of the season, which they know that's really matters. So Detroit might be hungry enough to try to take that spot. But I think Cleveland's by far. But Detroit within 5 games, I can see that. I wouldn't be opposed to Detroit 5 to 7 games from first. And then Milwaukee's going to hang around right after them. So they're going to be neck and neck with Milwaukee, if anything. If Giannis stays in place.
Okay. And you think Giannis is there for the entire season? I got Cleveland in the division as well. Just throwing it out
there. Giannis, I don't know, man. He's that. Shout out to the terminology first and foremost.
Expeditiously.
But Giannis is just one of those guys, man. He's an enigma. I can't call him. You know what I'm saying? So with his family not being there, you saw what that did to Dame. Dame was not himself. So Giannis seemed like he's cut from that type of cloth, whereas though like that's going to affect him. So I don't know. He's a huge question mark when it comes to this season.
Look, I'll say this. As long as Oklahoma City doesn't want Giannis, he'll stay in Milwaukee. Oklahoma City can blow any offer out the water with the amount of picks they have, and then paying Chet and Jalen Williams to max to kind of make the money a little bit easier with them adding the overseas point guard they drafted like 6 couple years ago. I can't think of his name. So if Oklahoma City wants Giannis, they can go get him. I'll say that. And some WNBA news. We haven't talked about WNBA in a while. That they've had their best game one for the finals with 1.9 million viewers, up 61%, and peak 2.5 million for that one game. I didn't watch all of this game live. I think it was a Friday night game. There was some college football on, but there was no baseball on. So one thing I think with the WNBA that we need to talk about is how they need to structure this better to avoid NFL games. If you do that, then you can have the potential to have these amount of viewers regularly for your WNBA finals. But shout out to the WNBA. What are your thoughts on this?
Is this the best of 7?
Yes.
Because they won. Aces won tonight, so they up 3-0.
They up 3-0. So yeah, it can be over whenever.
Yeah, we'll see if those viewers continue in Game 4 when it's a foregone conclusion that Aces is going to win. But this whole thing, that's great. That's great for the league, and I agree with you. You want to try to do as much as you can to avoid football. I mean, you see wrestling is even coming on at 7 o'clock to avoid Monday Night Football. Like it's too much. It's too much of a juggernaut to try to compete with. So you got to find different ways. I know work some things out, but at the end of the day, that is an increase when Caitlin Clark is not in the picture.
Yes.
So.
I'm not gonna say who's right on that topic, but we'll leave it at that.
They have been without Caitlin pretty much all season, except for the beginning. So this is them. This is what Caitlin does. She brought over fans, and guess what? If I bring over 100 people, 60 might leave because I'm not playing, but 40 is staying. That's an increase to what you had the year before. So that's how I kind of think of it. It's like she's bringing in so many different viewers that eventually people are going to stay because they like the product. You open them up to the product. Now have a great product for them to stay. And that's what's happening. So this has been an awesome season. Angel Reese has not been dominating this season. She's been dominating individually, but the team is absolutely garbage. So it's not them two. It's just the league itself. It's the MVP. Shout out to Angel Wilson. Shout out for the fact that she's been dominating and on and off the court, right? We're seeing her in way more stuff. We're seeing her face out there more. Shout out to Bam too. I think it's a partnership between the two. Which you know what I'm saying, and you can see the love that they have between each other, the gifts and things like that. She's winning awards, she's wearing Heat gear and stuff. She's just keeping herself relevant, whereas so people can actually attach themselves to her in a sense, and that's just bringing more eyes to that to the league. So, and she's MVP, bro. She's dominating. Like just nobody stopping her.
4th MVP or something like that, I think.
Say it again.
It's a 4th MVP.
Yes, it's a 4th MVP in a certain amount of years. She got some. She a part of some record, but it's only because I think under 30 or something like that. Okay. She's just been a dominant player. This has been a dominant series. This has been a dominant playoff run. And they've been up and down all season. So it's not like they was dominating throughout the entire season. They was up and down until they hit that button and they said, "Let's go." Yeah. And it's her. It's a couple other people. I think it's Joel Lloyd.
Joel Lloyd, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying. So they got players, man, and they just been, man, they balling, man.
Yeah.
So shout out to Aces.
Yeah, they went on a. Well, first, let me go back to Caitlin Clark comment. Her team did better with her this year than when she played last year, but we'll get into that whole conversation at the end of the year. I'm not going to let Caitlin Clark diminish what the Los Angeles Aces have done when they went on this 18-game win streak, I believe, to end the season, to vault them up the standings. They've been playing playoff great basketball for the last 2
and
months.
Asia hit the game winner tonight.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, the turnaround.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, that's what MVPs do. And look, they made a trade last year to trade Kelsey Plum, I believe, for Joel Lloyd. It was a 3-team trade. Asia came to play. So all I'm going to say is almost Vegas. I think I said Vegas. But look, this team is dominant. Asia is the best player in the world in WNBA. And this partnership, like you said, she has with Bam, where Bam is bringing eyes from the NBA to the WNBA, where they're showing up for each other's games. We presented her with the MVP trophy, where she's wearing Heat gear. He's wearing her tennis shoes. Like they are just kind of meshing and bringing this partnership that is allowing the WNBA to flourish, especially in the playoffs, especially when you play games on the nights when the NFL does not play. So you play Friday night, it's only going to college football, and that's how you get these ratings. I don't understand why there's a game 5 Sunday. I don't care what time it is on Sunday. You will not get a quarter of these ratings because of the NFL being all day Sunday. You can easily play on the Tuesday. You can easily play on a Wednesday or on the Friday. That's when those games should be scheduled. I think we need to do better. And we didn't even talk about Nafisha Collier calling out. That could be a whole nother conversation. And we're getting close to 11 o'clock. We're calling out the WNBA commissioner as well. That needs to be his own topic and how they need better leadership at the top, in my opinion, as well. But I don't want to get too much into that. We talked about WWE. Crown Jewel is this Saturday morning, East Coast time. Are you looking forward to this pay-per-view? I feel like it's I know why it's done. I know the market. I know they just want stars over there, but it kind of feels like it throws everything off because we're trying to force these storylines to have nothing to do with what was originally being discussed, in my opinion. We got Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. What's your opinion?
I like it, man. I think the storytelling is starting to stretch itself out, in a good way, right? We're starting to understand, like, Steph really has a confliction when it comes to Cody, and that's just pretty much good storytelling. We didn't get that last year. It was just Cody and Gunther, right? It was just one show up, and then I'm gonna stand in front of your face, and we'll see who wins. No, this one has some depth to it. And I think Raw in itself has been doing a very good job of storytelling versus what we're seeing over in SmackDown. So that's another thing. But the segments backstage, the flow of the matches, and then they're gonna go backstage again. But then that they pay off on things much quicker than what they did in weeks and stuff like that before. So to say all that to say, they are fully flushing this storyline out that ultimately means nothing. The Crown Jewel, it means nothing, but it's making it somewhat interesting. And if Seth wins this, in which I think he will, you're going to see that Crown Jewel ring throughout the entire year. Cody doesn't wear it. You're going to see that ring that they get throughout the entire year.
Cody don't wear the belt.
No, I think the belt stays there. I think the belt stays wherever they're at, whatever the case. That's a huge belt, but they get the ring to kind of show off. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that.
Yeah, I do think Seth wins. I think we're getting to it's. First, we're getting to Randy joining his faction, which I'm very excited for, or very interested to see. But I'm just kind of, I feel like it's just been interjected, this Cody Seth thing, and then it won't be talked about after Saturday. So that's just my opinion. But moving forward, we also have one of John Cena's last appearances, John Cena, AJ Styles. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
I thought they didn't do a good enough job of promoting it. I know that came last minute and everything. You don't need too much. What the video package they're having on Monday?
Yeah.
Y'all should have had this ready as soon as it was announced.
Yeah.
And we could have just been watching the same damn highlights of them two. And it would have been like, cool. Like it would have been more investment when it comes to it, other than just rent. AJ said himself, I know that this is kind of all of a sudden, like he said it on Raw. Like I know that this is like last minute and all that, but you got John Cena. Like, come on, bro. Like even you seen it. So they should have had a video package. They should have just showed more of AJ's TNA upstart, and they could have showed more John Cena's US champion days to become a champion.
Yeah.
And that's all we needed as a background to say, yeah, one was dominant in TNA for 10 years, the other one was dominant in WWE for 10 years, and they came together and then they split the first two matches, so on and so forth. That's all we needed. So just a little bit more background that'd have been great. But I don't know who wins this. I go Cena just because he just lost against Brock, so we're not going to have him lose back to back. And I hope Brock comes back. I hope he makes an appearance some kind of way when it comes to this match. But yeah, I gotta say it.
Do you think? I think Brock makes an appearance. I think this leads up to Survivor Series, kind of Brock costing him and Cena getting over the hump. But Super Cena to the rescue. I figured you'd be excited for this matchup with Stephanie and Tiffany.
You mean to tell me that's Larry? Larry is a huge Stephanie fan. And I don't think you care less right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't. The whole pay-per-view has been is kind of off my radar.
See, then this is the thing, right? Naomi was the champion, right? And we know that she gave it up because she was pregnant. But I think that they was going to have Stephanie beat her anyway. And this match is going to be the match because Larry said himself, like, they book matches and then try to fill in to get to that match in a sense, right? So I think it was going to be Stephanie. I think if you were seeing them two on SmackDown, the crowd was dead, bro. Like, no one wants to see this match. There's no hype behind this match. I don't care what video package that you bring up between them two, what combined promos that you can have. It's not entertaining. Stephanie can't talk. I'm tired.
That is true.
She can't talk. And Tiffany is like, I could go in, but how far can I go in? Because she's not gonna be in the keep up with me.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't want to see it. I hope there's a good match. I hope there's entertaining. I hope there's not that many botches. But at the end of the day, I think they give it to Tiffany because it completes her dominant title reign. I think Jade eventually takes her. But she done beat Jade. She done beat Nia. She done beat Charlotte Flair. She beat all of them, bro. She beat Trish. She beat them all, and she is yet to lose. And you would tell me she lose at Crown Jewel to someone that's just got the belt, which she could be at the next Crown Jewel?
That is true.
Nah. I think it's just to put that crescendo. That's another one. Put the crescendo on it, and she can go home in the sunset and let somebody else beat after that.
And like you said, this is Stephanie's first one-on-one pay-per-view this year. I know she was in the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank ladder match. One-on-one, this is her first pay-per-view match this made. So hopefully the match goes smoothly and hopefully this is a stepping stone for her. But I think Tiffany wins, like you said. Which I think is the most interesting storyline. They got Roman Reigns back and he's going to fight against Bronson Reed. Now, this does lead into Survivor Series. So I think we will get consistent Roman appearances. I do think Roman loses to Bronson Reed. At this point, they've had this rivalry for a couple months. The Shua Falala, we finally get this match at one-on-one. We'll see. I don't think it doesn't do Roman any good to win. It only can help Bronson Reed and help his legend, in my opinion, to continue to win his matchup. And I think it also takes a step in which he becomes too big for Seth Rollins' faction. I think that's what we're leading to. So I think Bronson Reed wins this matchup. What are your thoughts?
I think for the company, it'd be good for Bronson to win because he's the future. I even think that Larry will say that he Bronson should win. I could care less about any of that. It's Roman's to win because he just got his ass kicked, and I don't want to see him get his ass kicked again. He still might win and still get his ass kicked. But I just think that eventually he wins one, but it's in Australia. So, you're going to have outside interference, and we just want to see if Roman can deal with it. No, that was bad. No, we won't say that was EO more than anybody. I'm not giving Stephanie that, and you're not here to argue with me. So with that being said, shout out to my team, We Talk Combat, because they just posted a picture in our group chat that Brunson had the Shulafala on his neck with the tribal thief joint on it, and then I guess Nike said, "Man, take that shit off, homeboy. You're not paying us." So his shirt now just says "tribal thief" with no shoes on it. So they just told him, "Oh boy, that's
You're
not
not big enough.
Take that off, son."
You ain't Roman.
And that's why he had the shoeless shirt that said "tribal thief." So shout out to Nike for saying that. But no, I got Roman taking this one.
Vince would have let that fly. And lastly, we got this fatal four-way with Rhea, Io Sky, Kairi Sane. What did I forget? Osaka. I feel like this match. Go get your thoughts first. I feel like this match was forced. I don't think Rhea takes the. Yeah.
Let me say it.
Can we say it should have been triple threat? Can we just at least say that?
No. Eventually, we're going to get there, right? When it comes to the Kabuki Wars by themselves, I don't think Rhea needs to be a part of it. But we talked about long-term booking and long-term storytelling. That's what we talk about. They have been plotting. They have been watering this seed for the last couple months, right? Ever since pretty much Rhea and Io dropped that title, they've been pretty much planting these seeds along the way. And Saka's being the ringleader of all this, so yeah. she's turning to be the main villain, and we can see what's going on. When it comes to this kind of match, I did say I think the Kabuki Warriors is going to win. So I do think the Kabuki Warriors are going to win, but I want them to highlight, and I don't know if they're going to do it. They need to highlight Kairi Sane in this match. She has one of the prettiest finishes that I've ever seen. Her elbow drop is definitely top 5 elbow drops in the business historically. It is wonderful to see. She is the one I think she shouldn't just be the easy pin right here. They just had to beat Io, right? So, did she beat it? So she's getting some type of push right now. Asaka, she's 44 years old, about to be 45.
That's true.
Like she's old. Like let her get her time. Yeah. You feel me? Like. And I think if they do it the right way and she comes out the victor and that she can at least have that under her belt, that could do wonders for her career. So we see what they do with it. But I do expect the Kabuki Warriors to win this.
Last but not least, WWE's main event for December 13th, John Cena's last match, final match. Tickets have already gone on sale. Tickets are already astronomical for ringside seats. Still up in the air as to who his opponent is going to be. I've seen the rumors. I've seen the Gunther rumor. I think that's the main one that's kind of going around. I've also seen the Brock rumor as well, but I think he fights Brock at Survivor Series. So I know a couple people that are going that are excited for this match, for just to see John Cena for the last time. I guess what do you think? What do you think of his final? Who do you think is going to be his final opponent? And I've already heard that he's already going to play a small role at WrestleMania. If that's just to put a certain superstar over the top, we'll just leave it at that for the time being. But who do you think is going to be his last opponent in a couple months in Saturday Night Main Event in DC?
Let me see if I can guess my partner. I think Larry would probably wanted to be Gunther some kind of way.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I hope it's not that. Gunther don't need this. He just retired John Cena. Goldberg. He doesn't need to retire Cena at the same time too. But give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But let Cena win on his way out, so he doesn't have to put nobody over. And I think the person should be. I know that it's not, but I don't care. Just do something and just TKO. Pay the consequence. Pay the fine. Let it be Edge, man. You think you know me? Let bring over Edge, man. And just do it and see what happens, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how contracts work out like that. I don't know if you just pay the fine and call it a day. Like, can we just do that, or can they put enough legalities to it where though it gets it pulled? I don't want that. So I'm quite sure they know. So if they don't have to worry about it getting pulled from the show, then go ahead on the door, man. Pay the fine.
But AEW Rampage is the same night, correct? Or their weekly show on Saturday nights?
I don't think when it comes to that, main event. No,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, I'd love for that to be the main event. I'm pretty sure they've exhausted all options, and we know Cena has creative control over this last year. But I think there are a number of options. I want to see this Lesnar saga come to an end. So I think that happens in Survivor Series, but he has to beat him in his last match, in my opinion, for it to mean even more at main event. I don't care if he puts anyone over. I don't care about that. We know it's his last matchup. This is kind of one of those things where we know it's his last matchup, so let's go out here. Collision. There he is. Collisions on Saturday nights. We know this is the last matchup, so we just want to see Cena one more time. We want to get those nostalgic feelings one more time. We want to see Super Cena one more time. So I don't care who it is. I kind of don't want it to be Gunther as well. I don't see how Cena going over on him helps. But like I said, at this point, it doesn't matter. We're here for Cena. We're not here to see who he fights. We're here for Cena one more time. We're here to see him run down one more time. We're here to see Super Cena, like I said, one more time. So I think that's all we got for you this week. You know, it's just been the two of us, and we still went over 2 hours. So now you see how we easily go over 2 hours when we have a third opinion who's constantly incorrect as well. So we will be whole once again. Pause next week. The trio will be back.
Nobody wants to see that shit either.
Nobody wants to see that either. No, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm like, Brock doesn't have a spot with no Cena, in my opinion. Like he needs to come back in some kind of way. I don't know how, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But once again, we appreciate y'all joining us on a Wednesday night. We'll be back next week. The trio will be back talking all things Week 6, giving you the last two divisions of our NBA season preview, kind of going to some NBA season preview awards, who we got predictions for the year, finals predictions as well. And we will also kind of go into all things Crown Jewel, as that will have taken place on Saturday morning. So remember to set your alarm clocks for 8 o'clock Saturday morning. If you're on the West Coast, it's even earlier. But you know, as
on the West Coast,
yeah. As always, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the likes, the shares, the comments. You know, the telling us that we're wrong, even though I'm right. And all you Buffalo Bills fans out there, shout out to y'all. 0-4. Let's go 0-5 this year. Well, let's not even make it. I don't care. Whatever. Anything else you got to say? Let's wrap up this week.
You got issues, yo. We can talk about it, man. We can talk about it behind the stage. Pause. Like, yo, if you got issues, you don't know whether you're gonna be a Packers fan or Cowboys fan. That MVP.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fans hater. I'm consistent in that.
Buffalo Bills.
I'm a hater.
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna be consistent in what I do. I'm gonna hate whatever it is. What it is. See y'all next week. Get off the damn fence. For myself, from Larry Caution, who's not here. My brother. My brother B.A. the Barber Harris.
Close the show. Hit the button.
Oh.